No.
Yeah.
And there's live. See, you gotta. I know when to pay attention to what he's doing. He's not slick.
It's
See,
easier.
on
It's
anything
easier
else,
here,
on
but
anything
it's almost a
else,
tradition now. He does not tell us when it's live. You don't do the.
Why do you insist
but
on
this
paying
one's
attention
easy
to
because you just gotta watch the corner. You just gotta watch the corner, and that's it. This one's way easy.
Watching the corner is what you used to do back in your previous life, wasn't it, Eli?
Oh,
this is what we're doing.
The Southsiders are going after each other.
Oh,
yeah,
us Northsiders, we have no idea what you're talking about.
He was the thug. He was the thug growing up. I was in church.
I was far from being a thug. I was a respectable member of society.
No, I was out praying for your heathenistic ass. You're welcome.
Respectable member of society. Remember that.
Until you were 12. Hey, Nico.
Shut up,
buddy. Until you were 12.
Who's gonna? Okay, host. I'm here to just look pretty. Come on, host.
Hey, look, I'm the host for the live shows. That's it.
Live shows?
This is
That's a solid point.
Hey man, I'm just excited that we're actually doing something this week because I had a bad feeling when everyone started saying, "Well, we should go there. No, we should go there," and I'm like,
"Yes,
we're not doing anything, are we?" Oh my god!
It's looking a little rough.
They should have won against the 49ers, so we wouldn't even have to be recording. We could have waited until next week. We found out who they were going to be playing.
That's only well, it wouldn't have happened, right? Because Seattle still beat the 49ers, so we still would have gotten the number 2 seed. So the last 2 games have been unimperial. Yes.
But Seattle lost the week before. So we would have been able to
the sequence of events would have been us beating the 49ers and the 49ers beating Seattle to get the top seed. Neither of those happened. We needed both to happen though. So we were destined for the number 2 seed.
No,
so
I remember when after we beat the Packers, they said the next 2 games, if we win out and Seattle loses 1 game, which they did,
but they didn't lose week 17. Which was Carolina. Remember, I was telling you that.
Yeah, that's
we need Carolina to win this game. Yeah. They needed to win this game, really, because I'm sorry, they ended up losing. They ended up losing to Tampa Bay final week of the season, and week 18, right? And they had to wait for Atlanta to beat New Orleans to get into the playoffs, which is one of the most bizarre ways to get into a playoff game.
Yeah,
2 teams that have been knocked out of the playoffs for the better part of a month, and both sides are rooting for one of them. I can only imagine that situation. Like, you got to think, like, did the captains call those guys captains? Say, hey, if you win this game, we'll buy you a ticket somewhere. I don't know.
Might as well.
Something like I would have done it. I'm like, hey, come on, guys, we need you.
Help us out.
Help us out. We'll get a Rolex on the line. Like, okay, let's give them an incentive because those teams had 0 incentive to win that game, 0, right? Yeah. And a playoff team was on the line. And now look, I think the Rams absolutely pummeled Carolina, so I think it's going to end up being a meaningless victory, regardless. But regardless,
things have happened in the playoffs in the past, so.
At the last time, it's interesting. The last time a sub 500 team made the playoffs, right? They were a heavy dog in the first round, and they won the game.
You never know. But hey, look, Bears are in the playoffs. We get to host a game in the playoffs. Like what? When's the last time we did this?
So,
John, you are muted. I need you to get it together, producer.
I'm not muted. Oh.
I wasn't talking to y'all, but yes, the Bears are in the playoffs. It's unbelievable. It's fun. It's fantastic. It feels unreal. And if they go out 38-6, I'm going to be pissed.
Right now Vegas hasn't picked them, right? And that makes sense, right? I mean, both the previous 2 games came down to the final play of the game, right?
Right.
Interesting side note to this game. Both teams are on losing streaks, right? The Bears are on a losing streak, right? The last time both teams won, the Bears beat the Packers, and the Packers beat the Bears.
Wow.
Yeah. They're on Packers on a 4-game skid.
They're on a 4-game skid. Well, when they lost, when they lost to the Bears, they basically were locked into the 7th seed. Whether that was fair or not, it's immaterial. But look, we have the 2 seed. We're playing our arch rivals. It's going to be a lot of excitement Saturday night.
I know that you guys are all picking the Bears. I know both of you guys are picking the Bears.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, whoa. There's no way this is the Donkey Dance podcast, the official podcast in Dallas of the Bears, and we're saying Packers.
No. Well, obviously. Well, it's an interesting I read a couple interesting articles today. So
written by you saying you're picking the Packers.
Oh, no. Okay. I do think the Bears are going to win. The Packers they're on a losing streak for a very, very good reason. And they're, teams that stumble into the playoffs, they don't usually fare well, right? And it's not like, yes, the Bears are a 2-game losing streak, but they essentially lost in the last play of the game. Both of those. They could have easily won those 2, right? Packers can't say that, right? The Packers, now granted, week 18 they benched everybody, but the last 2 weeks they lost decisively, and that's not the kind of energy you want going into the playoffs. On top of it, and I'm going to make Eli smile right now. The Bears are the big X factor of the playoffs, and when I say that, this is what I mean. The 2 best players the Bears have, according to PFF from last year, and not this year. There's a reason they're not the top 2 on PFF this year. The quarterbacks, Gordon and Jalen Johnson. What do you guys think the over/under, the number of plays, the number of snaps those 2 have played together healthy on a Bears game this year? What's the over/under? What do you guys think?
2.5, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I'm saying 2.5.
No. Number of snaps.
Oh, snaps? 60.5.
Okay. Producer, you have one?
Producer we've lost the producer. Look at that.
Okay. So you're way high. It has been 31. High. Yes. Jesus 31 Christ. Snaps this year, which basically amounts to 95% of it in one game. 95% of it in one game.
Good Lord. That is
Take a guess which game.
Cowboy game?
What was definitively the best win the Bears had this year?
Cowboy game.
No.
What? Oh, Eagles?
The Eagles game.
Eagles. Yeah.
That was the only game where both Gordon and Jalen Johnson were healthy, playing the entirety of the game, and we stomped on the Eagles.
Yeah.
Right? So does that version of the defense show up on Saturday moving forward, right? That is a big X factor, right? Because let's be real, what the defense that we displayed against San Francisco 2 weeks ago, that's not winning no Super Bowl, right? A statistical fact: in the last 17 years, no team has won a Super Bowl with worse than a top 8 offense and a top 11 defense. If you think logically, that makes sense. You need to be good and not bad on one side, right? There's no such thing as a heavy defensive team and a shitty offensive team winning a Super Bowl, and vice versa, right? So when you sit there and look at the teams that currently qualify, right? The Bears aren't one of them. I'm just telling you right now. There's 4, right? And it would not be the worst bet in the world to get these 4 in their respective championship games. See, in the NFC, Seattle and the Rams. In the AFC, Patriots. And who do you think what that 4th team would be? It's an AFC team.
Jacksonville?
Jacksonville's correct.
Oh, look at that. See, boy.
I'm going to tell you right now, I can't remember if there's any sports betting at Choctaw. I don't think there is, but if I wanted to bet a dark horse to come into the Super Bowl, Jacksonville will be my pick.
Yeah.
Because conversely to what we just discussed about Green Bay, Jacksonville's coming in hot as crazy, right? They're an 8-game winning streak, and they were blowing people out. I mean, no one really noticed, right? I mean, we've had all of these years of futility from their golden hair, golden arm quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. All of a sudden, it showed up, right?
Liam Cohen.
Yes, I think we mentioned it last week. This is probably the toughest year in our lifetimes on picking a coach of the year. Like, obviously, we're biased to Ben Johnson, but I mean, you can make a case for a lot of teams. Could
John Harbaugh get a vote even though he got fired?
I mean, I don't think their team made the playoffs, so I don't think that he's going to get.
He did a heck of a coaching job with Lamar Jackson's stink-ass attitude, though.
He was also hurt. Well, the reason why he got fired, though, is actually interesting if you read into it. It wasn't necessarily because of his performance. He demanded the GM to be fired, right? He wanted his own GM to select players in the draft according to his preferences.
Did he want to be the GM, or he just wanted his own GM?
Well, there's probably a little bit of A, a little bit of B, right? It's like he wanted more voice in the draft room, basically, right? In the parlance of football, the GM's technically his boss, and he said, "We'll get the heck out of town." I think I made a joke to you guys. If I was the Giants, I'd be like, setting up a tent in front of his front lawn. It's like, hey, what do you want? We'll do it, whatever you want. Because
I was listening to some New York Giants radio. They actually don't want to wait out for Harbaugh because what the fear is, if they wait out Harbaugh and he takes too long to make a decision, they also want Stefanski. And if they wait out for Harbaugh and miss out on Stefanski, then they're just SOL all the way around.
So let me ask you guys a question. I give you the team. You let me know if he makes a difference in them not being the worst team in the NFL. Let's start Carolina Panthers. If he goes to Carolina, are they no longer the worst team in the NFL?
Carolina's in the playoffs, so I don't know.
Yes,
even if it's a 7, it doesn't matter. They're in the playoffs, right? So they're not even going to be picking the top half of the draft.
But does he make them better than what they were this year?
Well, sure. I mean, of course he does, right? Carolina has their own problems, but again, to me, the X factor is the Giants, right? There are no other. What other team do you know right now in the NFL that has their
one second. Matt, do the Panthers be better if Harbaugh's the coach, in your opinion?
Where?
Carolina.
I mean, I think by definition, them having a losing record right now, I think yes, John Harbaugh can easily upgrade that team all the way through.
All right. I've got 2 more teams, and then I can go to your deep analysis.
Sure.
Raiders.
I'm mad that they fired Pete Carroll. I honestly think Pete Carroll could have been that one, but the Raiders if I were Harbaugh, I would not even touch the Raiders because if you
really
and here's why. Over the last 4 years, 4 or 5 years, how many coaches have they gone through? Like 1 year, one and done.
Four coaches in the
Gruden,
last 6 years.
What's his name from the Patriots? The offensive coordinator, they got him, and then now Pete Carroll.
Patricia.
In 5 years, they went through 4 head coaches.
Yeah,
they're not giving anybody a chance. If I'm Harbaugh, no, I'm not touching you.
I wouldn't go there.
I'm not touching you. Mark Davis is an idiot. Mark Davis is worse than his father. No.
Can I put an exclamation point with something that I read the other day? So you're correct. Over the last 6 years, the Raiders have had 4 coaches. Okay, I don't know if you know this, but most coaching contracts have a significant guarantee, right?
Right.
Next year, the Raiders are going to be paying 5 coaches.
Yeah, that's
depending
great.
on how depending on how much money the new coach is going to take, they're going to be spending
a lot of money,
between $50 to $55 million next year on coaches for a team that's picking first in the draft. So, yeah, I mean, we always I remember when Eberflus was finally fired.
Who would want to take the risk?
When Eberflus was fired, right? He fired in the middle of the season. It was the first time the Bears ever did it. That's the reason the Bears never did it. They didn't want to be paying a bunch of coaches contracts that they're not even contributing to the team. The Raiders signed off on this. And here's the thing, $55 million, I don't care how much money you have. $55 million is a lot of money.
That's right? A lot of money.
That starts affecting their judgment on free agency, their judgment on personnel, how much they're going to spend on this, that, and the other thing. I wouldn't. That is my opinion. The worst head coaching job availability by far.
And it's crazy because they have the crazy thing is they have they have the first overall pick, and they're still not even like quality, because it would be one thing is like if they went flyers on head coaches and they were like, oh, okay, that just didn't work out. No, you fired John Gruden and you fired Pete Carroll, 2 Hall of Fame head coaches. Stop it. No, you're not. If you're not giving them a chance, why would John Harbaugh? No, God, no.
Well, by the way, let me answer our producer's point real quick, because you are right. The Browns situation sucks almost as bad. To their credit, I mean, again, it depends on how much you believe in Shedeur Sanders, of course, but they actually effectively had the best draft last year, right? They have the defensive rookie of the year, lockdown linebacker, a starting running back, and the tight end, the rookie tight end who actually finished as the best performer at the rookie position at tight end, a guy named Fannin, who's going to be a big sleeper next year in fantasy. I'm not saying they don't have problems. They wouldn't be picking third in the draft if they didn't. But we're talking about really bad shit to just really bad shit. Right? But again, the Raider situation, I wouldn't. Their biggest problem is what coach in their right mind would trust them.
Yeah,
I wouldn't trust them. They're gonna fire me just because one bad season. Like give it a chance. They stuck Carroll with the worst performing quarterback in, and they expected what to happen. Right? So there they are. Now they get to start over with I'm guessing Mendoza, the Heisman Trophy winner, who quite frankly I don't really believe in. A lot of teams don't believe in, because ace quarterbacks were heavily they end up on high school lists as best at their position. Mendoza was nowhere near that, right? So there's a reason he played at Indiana. If he's someone everyone wanted, he'd be at USC, Oklahoma, someplace good. Don't get me wrong. I think Indiana's got a good shot of winning the championship, but he's I don't think he's some game saver. He's not no Caleb Williams throwing dimes a couple times a game. It's gonna be more of a game managing type situation. And do you spend that in the first pick of the draft? I don't know. You gotta think about that a little bit.
That was the one thing that actually came across the idea, Mark. So because I don't think the Raiders get any quality coach, but what you can do, you got Mendoza out there. Go get his head coach. Go bring what's his name out of Indiana. Tell him to come to Las Vegas with the selling pitch of you get to coach the same quarterback for the next 10 years or so. That's a better seller, and you don't have to pay him what everybody else is getting pay. You don't have to pay them these ridiculous head coaching salaries. You don't. You pull him out of college. You can figure it out. But I can't imagine any true veteran head coach is taking LA seriously. Not with Mark Davis and Tom Brady running the show. No. Like what? They can't take you. So you're a gimmick team at this point.
And the other thing to understand is there are not that many premium head coaching candidates this year as opposed to last year, right? I mean,
but if you're a coordinator who just wants a shot, though, you're going to take that job regardless of who the owner is,
right? I mean, that's what Eberflus was, right? I mean, Eberflus was like maybe the sixth choice the Bears had. They just struck out on the top five, right?
But I think there's 3 quality picks that you can go after this year.
Which are
Kevin Stefanski,
sure,
John Harbaugh, and let's not forget Mike McCarthy still wants another job.
Oh God!
Look, you can say
everybody in Dallas. We're in Dallas. We're in Dallas. Everybody in Dallas just died laughing right now. I'm just saying.
Hold on. Okay, but hold on. They want to laugh, but I'm sorry. Didn't Mike McCarthy take them to 4 straight playoff appearances with 12+ wins? So Dallas can talk all they want, but he made that team a 12-win team 4 times in a row.
If the Steelers lose their first game in the playoffs, it's Tomlin gone. And
that'd be the dumbest thing. That's like Baltimore firing John Harbaugh.
So you know that it can happen.
It can happen, and I'm saying Baltimore's stupid for it too. But yes, you're right. If Tomlin comes on, if he comes available, again, my God,
who do you replace him with? Yeah, who do you replace him with?
That's part of the problem. That's why I'm saying
you replace Harbaugh with Tomlin and Tomlin with Harbaugh.
Shut up! That'd be the funniest, stupidest thing ever. Oh my God,
that would just be so dumb.
Oh my God, I would hate the NFL. I would look at them and be like, y'all just trying to be funny now.
You're
just trying to be funny. What are you doing? We're just going to be funny.
A few months ago, I think I mentioned something like this, right? I mean, when Eberflus was signed in for one more year during Caleb's rookie season, a lot of people criticized. But there were a lot of conspiracy theorists out there that said, well, the guy we really want just wasn't available. If we wait a year, he will be available, right? And they identified Ben Johnson early, and that's who they went after. And I think it's safe to say that he's probably the inside track for Coach of the Year. So they made a good decision, right? And but let's look at this a different way, right? Who was the second choice 2 years ago? Do we remember?
For where? For Chicago?
For Chicago. We're talking about 2 years ago, right? When Eberflus was signed on again.
Jim Harbaugh.
Well, okay, he was one option, right? He signed for, but he signed with the Chargers.
He had him in the building. He had him in the building. We actually interviewed him. Who are you talking
about? And I remember specifically that you said that you really wanted this guy. He was actually the offensive coordinator for USC.
Oh, Cliff Kingsbury. Yeah.
The year Caleb was with Cliff Kingsbury. Do you know who else? You know who was fired 2 days ago?
Mr. Kingsbury. No, the mutually parted ways.
Yeah, okay. He was fired 2 days ago. We mutually decided, I hate that so much. You have no idea. Either y'all love each other or you don't. Don't sit there and tell me. Don't sit there and tell me y'all mutually decided you hate each other. Like it doesn't work that.
Hold on, but let me stress this. Yes, Cliff Kingsbury just had that a couple days ago. Let's not take away what happened year one with him and Jaden, and let's not take away the context of this year with all the injuries they had. So let's not blame it all on Cliff. If Cliff was here in Chicago and he was running that offense and he had a healthy Caleb, which Caleb, knock on wood, has not missed a game. And so you're talking about he would have had his quarterback the entire time. No, I don't think it would have been a crash and burn. They went to the NFC Championship game last year. No, I'm never going to say.
Here's a good question. Cliff Kingsbury. Is he a head coaching candidate? I mean, you got to think about it. There's more available slots that there are premium candidates. And to your point,
a young quarterback.
He took back to the champion. and lost by one score to the team that would obliterate the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So I do have this image of Cliff Kingsbury being
that mutually parted thing is true. Maybe he wants to go for a head coaching job. Maybe that thing is true.
He didn't need to get fired to do that, though. That's I assure you, him having a position makes it better for him to find a spot. But I digress. But again, Washington believes their season was a complete disaster. Look, it's tough going from the championship game to 5 games out of the playoffs, right?
But the crazy thing is, it wasn't just Cliff. They did it to the defensive coordinator. Like, he cleaned house. Like, and I don't understand how you sit there.
This is how head coaches lose a job in 1 year's time, because now you've taken ownership of both sides. If they don't improve dramatically next year, what's going to happen, right? And they're in a tough division, right? I mean, the Cowboys have a great quarterback. The Eagles are the defending champions right now. And look, as I said before, I really believe the Giants are symbolically one of the sleeping giants in the NFL. Because again, they check all the boxes on the premium positions that are the toughest to fill, right?
Sleeping giants.
Yeah,
I saw what he did. Uh-huh.
Yeah, we see what happened there.
So wait, how do you feel about Dennis Allen being the Raiders' next head coach after they win the Super Bowl this year?
Dennis Allen. It's interesting. The Atlanta Falcons requested permission. Forgive me, I forget the guy's name. He is the current assistant GM to Poles.
Oh, to Poles? You mean Ian Cunningham?
Cunningham, yes. They requested permission to interview Cunningham for their GM position.
Correct.
And you'll find this interesting. The way compensation rules currently work, if the Falcons would, quote unquote, sign Cunningham, the Bears would receive a conditional 3rd round pick. Did you know this?
I think I saw something of that nature. Yeah. No,
it's like, so the guy who gets the coffee for Poles, if he leaves, we get a 3rd round pick. I mean, I don't want to make fun of the guy, but to me, that's what an assistant kind of does. So yeah, take him. Sounds good. Sounds good. We're in.
Yeah, no, that's not what it comes. But this isn't the first time Ian Cunningham's name has came across like GM circles, right? Like they were talking about it like a year or two ago that he was going to now, but now since we're winning, now he's really going to get the look. And so,
let's be frank. There's probably guys in the New England house that people are going to try to poach. There's going to be guys in the Chicago house that people are going to try to poach. When you go from worst to first. I mean, both teams, respectively, the number 2 seeds in their conference, right? When you go from worst to first like that, people take notice, right? I mean, performance, we're a performance-based society. You perform, you get rewarded, right? You don't perform, you get punished. And the NFL has that concept on steroids, and that goes from all the way to the players, all the way to the GM and assistant coach ranks, right? In fact, you make there is a really good point from the producer, Dennis Allen. Gosh, if some of these teams wait around a little while, he should get interviewed, right? I mean, he put I think I mentioned this a few weeks ago. No team has lost more projected starter minutes on defense than the Bears this year. No team, right? Which again goes back to my original point. The Bears are the X factor because they don't check the boxes that you see in normal Super Bowl contenders. But if all of a sudden the defense just hits lightning, which going back to my point, the only game where Gordon and Johnson played together the entire time was against the Eagles, which personally, I mean, I know you said the Cowboys and the Packers, but to me, the game that was the definitive, the Bears have arrived was the Eagles. I don't think to be honest, I don't think it's particularly close, right? This was from the beginning to the end, they won that game, right? And they beat the Eagles in their home turf, right? So, again, if they can replicate that performance, they certainly have a chance to make noise in the playoffs. Especially if someone upsets Seattle and the playoffs go through Chicago.
Well, I think the other thing people need to remember, people tend to forget how valuable Kyler Gordon is, because I mean he's not been there, so I understand why. But the things that Kyler Gordon does in terms of blitzing from the nickel or being a very shut down corner for those crossing receivers, he helps the defense so much. And Dennis Allen has even said how much they're able to use him. He is a premier. That's why he got the big extension that he did, because of his production. If he can just stay healthy, just please God, stay healthy. His defense looks so much different with him on the field. CJ Gardner-Johnson has filled in pretty nicely, but I saw a stat. They were talking about a stat today. How many touchdowns he's given up? And I was
he actually produced the lowest PFF score of the year last week against.
So I'm sitting there
I don't know if you were watching Amon-Ra St. Brown during that game, but he did whatever the hell he wanted.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing about that game, because we haven't talked about that game. After now reading a bunch of the articles, seeing these things, I am fully convinced they gave up that game. They had no interest in winning that game whatsoever. And here's why. After hearing the interview, the post-game interviews, and hearing some of the interviews from the players, they threw that game. And what they wanted to do was not give anything for the playoffs, not to give any looks or any type of information. Because when you hear your coach say, hey, we had a more simpler game plan, we just needed to execute. It's well, why would you go simple game plan if you were trying to win? And then you hear your starting safety said, we were just playing man-to-man and we weren't giving any help over the middle. Dennis Allen is smarter than that. Why would you ever – that they're giving you these crossing routes and he's burning them. Why wouldn't you go to zone, or why wouldn't you give some help? Dennis Allen's not stupid. We obviously know Ben Johnson's not stupid. These things being said are I feel like y'all did this on purpose. I feel like you did this on purpose. I don't know,
because in purpose, I think we talked about it. If they had lost and Philly had won, we would be facing what would be the 49ers this weekend, which I think.
But they knew Philly wasn't playing their starters. They knew that. That was already announced pregame.
Well, yeah.
When you start,
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you in that they might have kept some tricks up their sleeves for next week. But I also believe that's a little bit of a far cry from they just purposely lost the game. I think that's a bit of an overstatement, because again, they lost by one score, right? You can't convince me that they weren't trying in that fourth quarter. They were trying. They were trying.
But come on now, you're talking about a team that the week prior put up 38, and then all of a sudden you can't score into the fourth quarter.
Well, again,
the receivers are just dropping pass after pass after pass.
Yeah, San Francisco's defense is absolutely putrid.
Detroit's defense isn't good. Have you seen their secondary? Everybody's injured. We could have lit them up. We were supposed to light them up.
Yeah,
supposed to light them up.
I'm not.
Well, to be fair,
we didn't. Come on now,
to be fair, the other injury we haven't talked about was in the wide receiver room, right?
Right.
Of course.
Obviously, Luther Burden has had a great last quarter of the season, but the gentleman which probably should have been the number one wide receiver if he hadn't gotten hurt is coming back this weekend, right? So those are three key returnees coming back this week. guys who didn't play against either Packer game. So, again, we'll go back to what I mean by X factor. Rome Odunze, I said in the beginning of the year, and I thought he was going to be the number one wide receiver. He technically wasn't, only because he missed 5 games. But next year when they start tightening up that wide receiver room, I think Rome Odunze is good. He's gonna have a long career for the Bears. And even as is, he still had 700 yards receiving. So
I don't know. I don't know if I'm as excited of getting Rome back this week, simply because of the fact that after missing 5 games, that rapport that you had with Caleb, that's moved around. He has more comfortability with Colston. He has more comfortability with Luther. So, you guys
very much needed
after missing 5 games, and all of a sudden you guys are going to be clicking again. That's not how wide receiver and quarterbacks work. That's just not how.
That could be true of any position. I think my favorite stat. I think I told you last week my favorite stat of the year. Caleb's QBR passing to Luther and Loveland is 126.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else is 80. Everybody else is 80. Now, I think a lot of that is Oz, who, I'm sorry, he did some nice things, but I think he was a complete disaster this year. Yeah. Granted, we got the number 2 seed, but I thought him being on the field kind of slowed Burden's rise.
100%.
By the way, can I tell you an interesting article? Another interesting article I read, fantasy football related. And this is a very early draft. A lot of things are going to change from here in August. But guess what rank the CBS Sports just gave Luther Burden on the wide receiver rank for next year?
16.
Mr. Producer is actually close, 19. But think about 19 of every wide receiver in the NFL. Right. There's metrics. There's people who believe that he is going to be he's got superstar written all over him. I know you guys are DJ Moore fans. I remember Mr. Producer, when I told him my biggest fade this year was DJ Moore. I was proven absolutely correct. And I don't think DJ Moore is going to be on the Chicago Bears next year. Not that. Yeah, no, I think they
play for a winning team, and you think he's gone.
Well, I think a team like a Tennessee will offer a decent draft pick so they can have a proper number 1 wide receiver for their young quarterback, right? And from the Bears' perspective. More draft capital will only enhance their position on improving their defense, and more importantly, it opens up more routes and pass catching opportunities for the guys who are exceptional. You weren't listening to this stat when I said it the other day, Javon. There is a metric called yards per route run, right? So in other words, how many yards are you accumulating per the routes you're running? The number 1 in the league is Njigba, who finished number 1 wide receiver in the league. Number 2 in the league was Puka Nacua, who finished number 2 wide receiver in the league. Number 3 was Luther Burden. Right? This means that they didn't run him enough routes. That's what it means, right? Because basically, if they gave him the same number of routes as a Puka, he's basically that's the production that you're expecting, right? So you're replacing DJ Moore with someone who's going to produce 30% more efficiency. Yeah,
look, so I watched the highlights at Mizzou. Like I already know this man. Even when we watched the highlights this year, every time you put the ball in his hands, first down. Like it's or big play. Like it's just
you know what's funny? One of the narratives I'm going to find very hysterical because I actually do think Burden has a big game on Saturday, and I think the narrative that's going to haunt Green Bay, especially if they lose to the Bears, big because of Luther Burden. The Packers selected the first quarterback in the draft this year.
Wide receiver.
I'm sorry, wide receiver. You're right. They selected the first wide receiver.
Yep.
It wasn't Luther Burden.
Nope.
And the guy they selected can barely get on the field. Right? He is. He's accumulating the results of they kind of maybe he shouldn't have been a first round pick. Meanwhile, a lot of teams look stupid passing on Burden and the other wide receiver from that Tampa Bay took that played in OSU. I can't remember his name now, but again, the whole point is that's going to be a really strong narrative if you think about it, because the Green Bay has been begging for a number one wide receiver for years. They finally take one in the first round, and he ends up being a bust. Meanwhile, your biggest rivals take one, and he's a superfluous number one wide receiver. I find that hysterical.
No, it's like, look, I'm loving it. Like, I'm good with where we're at with it. I think. Here, I mean, there's going to be a lot of things that come to it. I'm like I said, I'm more excited about our defensive injuries that have come back. I think that's a bigger help, especially with C.J. Gardner-Johnson going to be out this week for concussion protocol. So, I mean, you got like Kyler Gordon coming at the right time is like definitely the right time. And defense is a lot easier to like implement somebody back into the rotation, especially because when you run zone or when you're just on a blitz or snap count, like that's so much easier. Having to rely on the crisp route running as well as the timing with your quarterback, that's I'm a little worried about that. But having Kyler Gordon and some of the things that he can do.
No. Because again, I know you're a big CJ.
Love him.
Yeah.
But coverage is rough.
He had an absolutely horrible game against Detroit. He produced the lowest PFF score of any player, offense or defense, for the Bears this year. He is being picked on, and by the way, that's been the last 3 weeks. Yeah. He got picked on in San Francisco. He got picked on against Green Bay. He's getting picked on, right? The theory is Gordon won't get picked on, right? That alone. Right, you're taking away your worst defensive performer of the last month, and you're replacing him with the guy who finished 17th overall at his position last year.
Yeah,
right. And in theory, that is a wide net positive.
He was actually a top 3 in his position, because you got to remember they consider nickel corners different than just regular cornerbacks.
No. When PFF makes that distinction, they group them all together. Right.
I know, that's what I'm saying. They're grouping all corners, but I'm saying
yes, he finished number two nickel corner. You're right.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is like you're going from essentially worst to first. Like, I mean, again with that position. So
yes, last year he finished number 2 overall.
I'm excited about it. Yeah, I'm definitely. So, look, I'm glad. And then Malik Willis, he's out. They just had to upgrade Desmond Ridder. I don't know what that means for anything, but you
know what I find fascinating. Yeah, one other little note for this game that I'm going to be interested is if Love stumbles in the first half, which is not impossible because he has known to have slow starts and do stuff like that. Mm-hmm. What's the narrative going to be like? Hey, let's give Willis a try. Because I don't know if you remember,
Willis is out. Willis is out.
Willis is out. Okay, I apologize.
Yeah, he's out. He's out. But that's why they elevated Desmond Ridder. Desmond Ridder is on the 53-man roster now.
Oh my gosh! But you know what's interesting?
That's what
Willis did enough. I actually think Willis did enough in his little trial that someone's going to give him a contract next year.
Look, the speed on him is what we struggled with. Like, if you can keep like these quarterbacks in the pocket, we can probably bring them out. Like Jordan Love,
it's an interesting question.
We were fine.
It's an interesting question because it's like I know you're still a Justin Fields fan, and obviously he's lost a lot of faith. Oh my God! But my favorite joke last week. I go, hey, what about Justin? Like,
he's doing his best. Leave that man alone.
On terrible teams.
He got benched on the Jets. Okay.
The Jets who just broke the record for not a single interception in the entire NFL season. Oh, wait, and I'm sorry, with the longest season that we've ever had.
Yes,
you're talking about 17 games. You couldn't get an interception.
Yeah.
That is unreal. So don't tell me that
the Jets are a hot mess. There's no doubt about
dumpster fire.
Dumpster fire. Okay. Let's ask a question. Which team you think is the biggest dumpster fire? The Raiders, the Jets, or the Browns?
Jesus. At least the Browns have a defense. Like, at least they can do something. Like, right?
He's got his etched name in stone. Like, he's the sack leader of all time. That's going to stay.
And actually, Shador looks competent. Like, I can't.
Jury's still out, but I think they're going to give him a chance.
So that when you look at the Raiders, I don't know what happened with that. I think there was a bit of Chip Kelly being an idiot. And Pete Carroll never really getting the grasp on it. No, I think the Jets, they didn't know what to do with quarterback. Your best wide receiver couldn't break 400 yards. Your defense didn't get a interception all season, which is unheard of. I'm gonna say the Jets. Yeah. And then the Jets had the opportunity to get the number 1 overall pick, and they messed that up. Like, what do you mean? Like, what are we talking about?
I missed something. How did they have a chance?
Huh?
How did they have a chance?
Jets held the number 1 pick, and then they beat. Who did they beat? Like 2 weeks ago.
I thought the Raiders had it when they lost. I thought to the Jets.
When did the Jets have it? Hold on.
And then if the Raiders had won and the Giants had lost, they would have been the first pick. I could be wrong.
Hold on. Give me a second.
I believe the Jets do actually pick 2, by the way.
So it's when the Jets beat. Good Lord, where is it at? When they beat the Falcons, November 30th. At that point, they had the number 1 pick.
Oh, oops.
Yeah, at that point, because they.
But correct me if I'm wrong. They have the 2nd pick right now, right?
Yeah, they're second. Yeah.
All right. So, look, there's 2 quarterbacks that have first-round grades. They'll get one of them. Okay. They've done it before. Who knows? I will say this about the Jets. They did do the right thing, and it's actually shocking more teams don't do this. They took whatever asset they had that wasn't glued down and traded for any draft pick you can find.
Yeah.
They have multiple first and second round picks the next 2 years. That's a good thing, right? I mean, again, they need to find a QB that works. They need to they just hired a new coach who's already in the hot seat, which I find hysterical. But look, personal opinion, to me, it's the Raiders. Especially in the context of, because we talked about the Browns having a great defensive end. Raiders defensive end is not too bad either. In fact, they might be. I can't even tell you how many memes I see about the Bears acquiring Max Crosby. I find that fascinating, right? I mean, the Bears fall short, knock on wood. He would be like an optimum choice to chase, but we'll see.
I wouldn't be mad at it.
I'd be pretty happy too. Especially when you put in context that they're probably going to ship out DJ Moore. It's like, okay, ship out DJ Moore.
Stop getting rid of DJ Moore.
Hold on.
DJ Moore is gone. Stop getting rid of DJ Moore.
You ship out DJ Moore to player Team A, and you get Max Crosby on a corresponding trade over here, right? I would trade DJ Moore for Max Crosby every day and twice on Sunday. I don't think many teams would say no.
I understand your valid points, sir. I want cake and I want to eat cake. So Give me DJ Moore. Give me Max Crosby.
I want both. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, and I'm not saying it's impossible.
As a backup quarterback.
There's a thing called money. There's a thing called money.
There is this weird thing called a salary cap, right?
I hear you guys. There's also a thing called a playoff game against the Green Bay Packers where it looks like people are coming back and we're going to be strong. What is your opinion about what we're going to see on Sunday? Let's start with Nico.
I do think it's going to be a back and forth game and a one-score game. Do you know this? A little interesting factoid.
Where is his white jacket? I'm sorry.
One, they are predicting snow for this game.
Oh, great.
Two, even with that weather forecast, it is officially the most expensive wild card round ticket in NFL history.
Bears Packers on a Saturday night. Yeah.
It was funny. We were talking about the schedule last week. I was like, oh my God, they're going to put this on Saturday night. I'm about 9,000% positive, right? Because it's all alone. It's on an island. Do
you know why they did that? Is they wanted to maximize the biggest revenue for both the NFL and the city of Chicago. Because when you think about it, Saturday night, Sunday, everybody is going to be packed watching this game.
The DUI drunk tank at Cook County Jail is going to be
going through the roof, boys and girls. It's going through the roof.
It's like, okay. We've had enough. We have enough.
It's going through the roof.
It is madness. It's gonna be a great game. I think the Bears' defensive stars returning are going to make a difference. I think the Bears win a 24-21 game, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
No, I think here's the thing. There's a couple things. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little nervous playing the Packers again. Now, logically, yes, you can go into this game and be like, all right, we got a great running game. We're getting all these people healthy back. Ben Johnson is going to do everything in his power. He's going to get all the stops out to beat him. You can say all those fun things, but we've seen this before. We've seen this movie before, and we've even seen it in the playoffs before. I don't know if I can deal with losing to the Packers in the playoffs. If I'd actually rather Sunday, I'd rather be the 3 seed. I'd rather have San Fran come to Chicago. I'd rather have a West Coast team come to the cold rather than playing a team that.
That's a fair point. You know what? That's a very fair point.
The fact that we sat there and we took the Niners to the wire in their home, home stadium. Yeah, I would want you to come to Chicago and see how you can deal with it. I would want that. Now we're sitting here dealing with our nemesis, our boogeyman. Jesus Christ. Yeah, you could have faith about it, but
I will say this: if we reflect on those two games a month ago, the Packers won 6 of those 8 quarters. They did.
Yep,
they did. We can't deny it. There's every statistical evidence now we won 2 of those quarters. One of them we fell a little short. One of them we got right over the finish line. Right. Both required someone fucking up. Right. In the first game, it was Ben Johnson making a horrendous play call. I'm sorry, there was a minute left. He should have gotten the first down and then made a play for the touchdown. But spilled milk. And that second game, let's not forget. Romeo Doubs is the second leading wide receiver on Green Bay. He had to muff a punt. He had to muff that onside kick for us to even have a chance to get that far.
Correct.
You shouldn't have done that. You're on the hands team. It's your only goal. Don't muff it. And he did. A lot of people in Chicago didn't see this, but. He when he went to the Green Bay media, he said, it's my fault. I don't blame my teammates, blame me, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, oh, okay, good for you, But again, both games required a fuck up, and it's not that much of a stretch that might come down to that again on Saturday.
And like, look, I was watching some of the interviews. These like they are fiending to get their so-called get back. That's what they want. They want this badly, and I'm like, if we don't come out perfect, Jesus Christ, it's gonna be a rough one. It's gonna be a rough one.
Yeah.
I'm not really like, I'm looking forward to it because the challenge and the competitiveness of it. Sure. Yeah, let's do it. But if I have to sit here and deal with stress like that, or if I have to deal with a first half of just no football, no offense, no nothing, like, come on, man. Like I am not.
I mean, how about a deal with the first half like we did last Sunday, where the Bears did absolutely nothing on offense or defense, and we just had to sit there and watch.
Yeah. Now, the flip side to that is
excruciating football.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they wake up in the fourth quarter and then they lose again a last-second field goal. So, could we see something similar? I hope not. I'd like to see a full effort from the Bears from first quarter to the fourth. Because I'll tell you right now, we sit there and if we continue to throw that kind of effort out there, where they look listless, they look lost, penalties, miscues the first half.
Yeah.
We're not gonna. I know it's fun to call Caleb the Iceman because he comes alive in the fourth quarter. How about I would rather see him do it the whole damn game and we win by 2 touchdowns, like that Cleveland game. Give us something easy to take, right?
And so that's what I was gonna say. On the flip side of this, if we come out and we pull a Cowboy game, or we pull an Eagles game, or we pull one of these out, and it is pure dominance, then the flip side is enormous, because now you're sitting there. Now you sit there and say, "Oh, nobody can touch us. Nobody can touch us." And then don't let Seattle lose, because if they lose, the road to the Super Bowl goes through Chicago.
Yeah, no.
And if all these West Coast teams or these summer teams have to come to Chicago and face our run game, face our defense, boys, this might be a hell of a season. Well, we might be sitting here getting ready for a nice little maybe a 1985 Super Bowl rematch.
As I told you a couple weeks ago, I think the NFL would literally orgasm in their pants if it was a New England Chicago Super Bowl.
This is where I want the scripting to come. Like, hey, look, come on, Vegas. Let's have some fun. Come on, hey. I'm not going to say anything.
They are outside of the Chargers. They're the 2 biggest markets. And then of course you have the whole narrative of the first and third pick in the draft last year coming up.
Let's do it.
One of them going to win the Super Bowl.
The script wrote itself.
It would be enormous. It would be enormous. And obviously we're rooting for it. I'm not anti-New England. I mean, granted, there's probably some teams out there like, well, that's not fair. They just had Tom Brady 3 years ago. What's going on? With 3 or 4, whatever it was. And here they are with another franchise quarterback. But again, that's why drafting these franchise quarterbacks is so important. Last fact of the day. So this playoffs has just broke the record for most number 1 picks, most number 1 quarterbacks playing in the playoffs.
Oh wow.
Okay, so we had Stafford, we got Young, got Caleb, obviously, and most top 3 selected quarterbacks playing in playoff history, right? The only real late round quarterback who's still alive is Brock Purdy, and again that's he's Mr. Irrelevant, so it's a big outlier. But everyone else, either early first or early second. And then you got Purdy out there a little dot on the other side of the spectrum. But again, the three of the last. Well, Stafford's older than that, but two of the last three number one picks, they're playing. They're going to be playing today, this weekend.
That's insane.
I think that's
nuts.
Yeah, I think it's actually fascinating, right? Because again, when last year's draft, when the Denver Broncos picked Bo Nix in the 12th pick, and they ended up being the 6th quarterback selected, everyone was freaking out. And I'm like, well, shit, it's only going to get worse. And now that this happened, right? We haven't even talked about Bo Nix and them being the number one seed in the AFC. Right? I mean, they can get. I could see them making a big run. Right? So
that's nuts.
That's nuts. Okay, excellent commentary.
Love it. This guy, give him a promotion.
Yeah, Mr. Producer, what's your prediction for tomorrow or Saturday?
The Bears are going to win this game. Oh, let's just call it 42-10.
Wow.
They're going to make a statement. They're going to let the NFL know we are not here playing with y'all. We got this. Let's go. Go Bears.
Okay, boys. We'll see what happens on Saturday then.
Look, 115-3. Let's go. I don't care. No Bears. Whatever. Boys, it's always a pleasure. I'm about to sit here and play some more Madden.
Oh my God, you're Madden, dude.
Don't you judge me.
What was the weird thing about your Madden game? The kicker is like Chad.
It's an ultimate team. You play with cards. Yes, my kicker is Chad Ochocinco. You better leave him alone.
What the hell's going on with that nonsense?
He's been winning. He plays soccer. It works. Okay. Look, it works. And then when I got trick plays on the kickoffs,
so says you.
That's what it is.
That's some nonsense right there. All right, guys.
I will see y'all Saturday. Bye, you trash producer.
How do I